What is up, guys? So, as you can see, just got back from chasing the aliens with Will Smith. Had to do a couple of those flasher things on a few people. I'll tell you what, I wish someone would do one on me. That'd probably solve like 99% of my problems. But I was thinking today, what I was going to do is I was thinking of going to one of those Palestine things, to show my support. But then I remembered I'm not a massive bell end, so I can't. But anyway, today we're going to talk about how drugs ruin your brain, how they ruin your mental health, and how you're left, or how I'm left, with crippling anxiety. Your fucking brain just don't work properly half the time. And it's all from spending years as an addict, in prison, in doorways, homeless. Just so many problems that people don't really talk about that much. So that's why I'm here, to talk about. As always, it's only my own experience, and some of my opinions people won't agree with. On this channel, I do things, sometimes I might be a hypocrite, sometimes you might not agree with what I'm doing, but that's the beauty of it, that's what I don't just put out all the good stuff, what makes me look good. I put out all the stuff, all of it. Sometimes I look like a knobhead, sometimes it's embarrassing, but it's real, and I think that's why people enjoy the videos on YouTube. But anyway, today we're going to talk about how drugs ruin your brain. I went for my haircut the other day, as you can see, looking fresh, as Jardy P says. And like, to the normal person, going for the haircut, it's no big thing. You just go in, get your haircut, no big deal. But for me, it's fucking, I put it off and I put it off until I've got to get it done, and then I'll be up all night thinking, oh, man, I've got to go for my haircut tomorrow. I'll be worrying about the interactions, I'll be stressing out, and then the next morning I'll be like, fuck's sake, I've got to go, and I'll go to town, I'll be in my own head, I'll be looking for a barber's, or if I don't really use those barbers, a hairdresser's that's got, I like to use English hairdressers because, when there's some immigrant behind me with a cutthroat, I'm not comfy at all. And so I'll find an empty hairdresser's so that there's no interaction, so I can just get straight in, get it done, and get straight out. And yet then when I get there, start talking, it's not that bad. I'm like, this is nothing. But it's, that's the pain of anxiety. It ruins you. It ruins me. Anyway, I can remember when I first got clean. Because you all know my story. I was on Valium, Xanax, pregabalin, gabapentin, smoking crack every single day. I was on 10, 20 cans of beer a day, over 100 ml of Valium. And a detox cold turkey. It fucking nearly killed me. It was so bad. I can't tell you in words how bad it was. That's how bad it was. I was hurting in ways that I'd never even imagined. I can't even explain it. It was that bad. And it took ages. And I got to a point after about 6 months where, because my hair was long as fuck, I was like, oh man. And see, if it was me, I'd just, well, it is me. but if I could, I would just shave my hair off. But I can't, because I've got a big fucking scar on my head. So, I was on about, going to get my hair cut. I'll go and find, when I got clean, it was like 6 months in after the detox, and my hair was really long. And I thought, I've got to go and get my hair cut now. And I kept putting it off, and then eventually I was like, fuck it, I've got to go. And I went, and I was still feeling a bit weird. I was still sweating, and I sat down, and I was like, man. And the woman, she just won't stop talking, and I'm not being nasty about it. I'm sure she does that with everyone, but with me, it just felt like she was just not shutting up. And every time the shaver went round my ear, it was, and I could feel my fucking heart beating. I was sweating. I've got to get out, and I just had to get out. And that's what it was like at the beginning. And like out in public, I struggle. I'm socially awkward. There's the latest thing what keeps happening, which it did happen before when I was an addict, but I could put it down to, it's the drugs. But now I can't say that. So what happens is I'll be out and about, and then somebody will come up and say, "Oh, you alright? I fucking saw you last week and you just blanked me. You just ignored me." I was like, "No, I didn't. That weren't me." I don't fucking just ignore people. I said, "No, a mate I've known for years." She says, "Yeah, I was shouting you and you just ignored me." I said, "The fuck?" She said, "You did. You looked round, looked me dead in the eye and just ignored me." And I'm thinking, have I got a fucking evil twin or something? Because I can't remember that. And it happened like a while ago. I got brought in I was convinced I had like a doppelganger or something. I got arrested for an armed robbery on a Rhythm and Booze in Doncaster. And I'm thinking, well, you know what I mean? It's not me. I know I've not done it. So I've got no to worry about. And then they got me in there and they said, we've got 2 witnesses putting you at the scene. I was like, what? How does that work? 'Cause like I say, I knew I'd not done it. And they had a woman in the shop saying she recognised my voice. There's some guy with a balaclava on who's gone in and had a knife or gone or something and robbed a shop. And then she says she knows it was me because she remembers me from somewhere and she recognised my voice. And then there was someone on the way out she said, yeah, I know it's him because he took his balaclava off and started arguing with me. I was like, how the fuck does that work? There's 2 people saying one heard me and one saw me, and I know I didn't fucking do it. So I start questioning myself then. Am I going nuts? Did I do it? But, you know, and it started happening in the streets, and people say, well, you looked at me, you just ignored me, and I said, I can't remember that. And the only thing I can think of is maybe I was just I get wrapped up in my own head so much that I'm just concentrating. Is it like a one-track mind? I'm not concentrating on things around me. I'm just, because what I do is, like if I'm out on my bike, I probably look like an absolute nutter, but I'll be talking to myself, you know, making up jokes and thinking of things what I could say on videos and just having a laugh with myself, because I ended up like really comfortable with myself from years in prison. When you're sat in a cell on your own, you get used to being on your own, and that's what I'm like. So I'll be out and about, I'll be talking to myself, and I used to try and hide it because I think, fucking hell, if somebody sees me going along talking to myself, they'll think I'm nuts. But nowadays everybody's fucked anyways, so I just fit right in. So yeah, I'll be making up jokes and cruising along, and I suppose I've just got that much of a one-track mind that I don't notice things around me, you know, and maybe that's due to some kind of mental health, I don't know. It'd be alright if I could sit down with someone and talk about it, but they just don't want to know. Like, you'll go see the doctor, I've been loads of times, and I'll go in, they'll say, oh, what's the problem? I'll tell them, I say, look, I'm fucking struggling here. I've got really bad anxiety. I can't go to places I want to go. I can't go to my mates and chill with my mates. I can't go to family members. I'm isolated and I can't. This fucking anxiety is killing me. I can't live a proper life because of it. And they'll be like, oh, who is it? Oh, yeah, that sounds terrible. And then they'll look on the screen. They'll see my past, drug addict. Well, there's no we can do. I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do. How about going to this group? Did you not just fucking hear what I'm saying? I've got anxiety, I struggle around people, so the last thing I want to do is go and sit in a group of fucking people. And, you know, it's just they're not hearing me, or, I don't know. I think if there was like a psychiatrist who I could sit down with, because I know my head's fucked, I know that. If there was somebody I could sit down and talk to about it, and it can be triggered by anything, like this morning. You know, I put my hat on the side and it slipped off the side and landed in the fucking dog's water ball. And that could have trajected me into a downward spiral. I was like, fucking hell, it feels like a personal attack from the universe. And all it is just it's nothing really, but, you know, when you're in your own head, you start convincing yourself, fucking hell, that's the universe fucking with me. Did that on purpose type thing. And like I say, like going around, like I love like going around friends and family, and I just don't want to do it because it just seems like a massive chore. It feels like I don't know, it's like an invisible force crushing down on me, and I just can't break through it. And there's times when it gets really bad where I'll be laid in bed and I'll just be thinking, what is the point? What's the point in me being here? You know, what's the point? And it just doesn't seem like there's any point in any of it. And then I start getting down, and I can't even open my curtains in my bedroom because I just don't want to see what's outside. You know, I can't be doing it. And it breaks my heart at times because, like, the last time it happened, I was in a chip shop, which I rarely go into places like that, but I was passing by, I thought, fuck it, I'll just get a bag of chips. I'm not getting a fish because you have to wait for it. And then I'm around people, and somebody came in, and there was like laughing and joking really loud, and there was all laughing behind the thing, and I was like, man, why can't I have that confidence, you know? Why can't I talk to people that way? And that's the beauty of this channel, is like it allows me to do that whilst not being around people. And listen, I'm trying to work on it. I go out on my bike, people will say, oh, well, you're out on your bike all the time around people. And I am, yeah, but, you know, that doesn't really show the full picture. So yeah, I'm trying to go out and do a little bit more each day. And like, I'll see someone, I think, right, I've got to talk to that person, you know, even if it's just, hello, how you doing? You know, to them, it's nothing, but to me, it's a big step in the right direction. But like I say, I'm just totally socially awkward. Like, I don't know if you're a drug addict or if I'm in prison, then I know what to talk about. But there's normal people in the street. I'll be like talking, I said, so what colour's your dog then? You know, it's just totally weird, random fucking shit what comes into my head. And it's all brought on by myself. You know, there's nothing worse than being caught up in your own mind, like in your own way type thing. And it's bad as well when you have to go to prison. And think about that, because when you get clean from drugs, right? When I was on drugs, I could talk to people how I wanted, you know, because all the feelings of anxiety were, all the shyness, whatever it is, it was all suppressed. Like drugs got rid of it all, like painted over it, so I could act how I wanted to be. It broke down the barriers. But then when you get clean, because you've been suppressing these feelings for years, they come back tenfold. And just imagine getting fucking 8 months in prison or whatever, and then you're now in a cell, in a prison, on a wing, surrounded by loud, screaming, fucking crazy inmates, especially if it's the YOs, and you're struck with anxiety. It's horrible. You have to learn to adapt, and I learned to adapt in prison, which is why when you put me in a jail, I'll flourish, I'll thrive. But you put me on the street around normal people, and I don't know what to say, I don't know how to act, and it's every single day. It just seems to be there all the time, and I'm thinking, well, am I stuck with this now? Is this my life forever now? I can't fucking talk to people I want to talk to them. I can't go and see people I want to see. You know, it can be overwhelming, and it can put me in a mood where I'm just like, what's the point? And it's horrible. It's an horrible feeling, and it's all brought on from years of drug use. And I guess that's why it annoys me when you get people like the scruffy sheriff, you know, big fat horrible cunt, who just comes online and starts saying, fucking smackhead, look at him, he's a fucking baghead. You've got no idea what we have to go through. You've got no idea of the struggle, the internal struggle, day after day, week after week, year after year. If you only knew, you wouldn't walk a fucking week in my shoes, and yet you stand there, you want to judge me, and you've just got no idea. So, you know, it does trigger me a little bit, and I suppose it shouldn't. I don't mind, like, with the whole dark side thing, I think people are really not that interested in it anymore. Before, I used to love doing the dark side stuff, and people enjoy it, but now, it doesn't seem, you know, because there's not really any good characters on there. But anyway, yeah, I just thought I'd have a little whinge and a moan. I'm going to go today to the car boot sale. I went last week or the week before, and it was shut. There was no one there. Well, don't say it was shut, because it's a car boot sale. But, you know, there was nobody there. And actually, usually it's at the Doncaster Rovers football ground, and it's all the way around. You know, there's fucking loads of foreigners. It's mostly foreigners. But there's loads of different stalls all the way around, and then there'll be loads in the other car park, and then there'll be loads in the other car park. So it's just a massive event. But I went last week, and there was like a food truck there selling meat, and there was about 5 different stalls, and that was it. And at the time I went before that, there was nobody there. But I think that was because there was one of these Pride events, so that made sense then. But last week, there was just, I don't know why there was hardly anybody there. Maybe it was the weather, maybe it was forecast wind or rain, I don't know. But it's a lovely day today, it's too fucking hot, innit? I'm not built for this weather, me. I can't cope. I'm part ginger, I've got ginger pubes. So I'm just not built for this weather. I don't, like, I can't even get a tan. Because if I take my top off, I did it once, I don't know if I've spoke about this before. I was walking over a field and I was a crackhead, so I weighed about 7 stone, I was so skinny, it was unbelievable. And I looked like one of those 48 days later fucking zombies. And it was a red hot day like it is now, and I thought, fuck it, I'm going to take my top off. Your boy needs a suntan. So I took my top off and I only walked over the town field 5 minutes. And then I put my top back on and went to bed that night. I woke up the next morning covered in big water, like yellow water blisters. I was like, holy shit, what's happening here? And I ended up getting rushed to hospital with fucking 3rd-degree burns all over my body. I was in hospital for about a week, and all my back scabbed over, and it was fun peeling all the scabs off and all the dead skin, but that might have been one of the stupidest things I've ever done. That was crazy. And I was in hospital for about a week, like I say, and then I just went white again. So when I go out in the sun, I'll take my top off because I'm white as a ghost. I'll take my top off and I'll get burnt, go bright red, and then go white again. So what's the point? I might as well just stay covered up. But anyway, that's the video for today. Yeah, it can be a struggle, and anybody who's battles with long-term addiction, let me know in the comments if you struggle with it, if you struggle with anxiety, depression. I know there's a lot of people do struggle because I get messages of people all the time. I used to help a lot of people on TikTok, but I got shadow banned for, I think I said something. I made a video called Homophobia in Prison, talking about how prison is a homophobic place, because it is. And I got banned from TikTok for that. I'm not banned anymore. They shadow ban you for like a few months, which just like all your progress just stops. I don't really know how it works, but I went from getting like 20,000 views down to 3. And I was like, what's happened here? And then I like look more into it, and it's shadow ban because you're not allowed to say anything gay or fucking out like that. Yeah, and since then I don't really post that much on TikTok. I really should, because I can get really good views on there, and it gives people a chance. They can message me in person, and the fucking amount of messages I used to get. That's another thing with anxiety. I get people saying, oh, I've got a podcast, I'm a producer, I work with so-and-so, do you want to come on and talk about drugs, and do you want to do a podcast? There's so many opportunities, and I have to knock them back because of, I fucking struggle that bad with anxiety. I mean, it is getting better, but like I said, there's so many missed opportunities. I want to be out there doing podcasts. I've got a really good story where I think I could help a lot of people. And plus it's entertaining as well, as dark and miserable as it is. It's also funny and crazy, and you find yourselves in so many crazy places when you're an addict, like prison and living in doorways when you're homeless and all that sort of thing. So yeah, I've got a good story. I've got an interesting way of talking as well. I can put it across well. But this fucking anxiety is killing me, man. If anyone knows any tips or how, if you struggle with anxiety, let me know, because people help me all the time. But like I say, on YouTube you can't really directly message me, whereas on TikTok you can. But see, most of my videos are like 20 minutes long, so you can't really put them on TikTok. They're only on, I think it's 10 minutes on there. I talk a lot about around Doncaster. That seems to get big views on YouTube, on TikTok. But anyway, I'm rambling now. So if you like this video, press the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments if you struggle with anxiety, how you overcome it, or if you struggle with depression. There's so many people out there struggling now, and I've seen it firsthand. There's fucking tons of messages off people. But yeah, that's the video. Bonjour.